These are my most anticipated movies for 2026. Now, I just did my top 10 best movies of 2025, and I said in that video that I think 2025 was the weakest year for film in a long time. 2026 looks like it's going to be the complete opposite. It looks like it's going to be the best year for movies we've had in quite some time, at least of the 2020 so far. So let's jump into my list. I do have quite a bit of honorable mentions just because there's so much good stuff coming out. First honorable mention is by Zach Cregger, who just had Weapons come out this year and previously did Barbarian. He's doing a Resident Evil film. Of everyone who's ever done a Resident Evil film, I think this is the best horror director we've ever had to make one, so I'm pretty stoked for that. Sarnowski, who did Pig. Sarnowski has a film called Death of Robin Hood coming out that I'm pretty excited about. Alejandro Inarritu, one of the best directors alive, is doing a film called Digger with Tom Cruise. That sounds pretty sick. Julia Ducournau, I don't know if you've seen her film. She did this movie Raw, and she did this movie Titane. Raw I loved, Titane I hated. But Julia Ducournau has such a disgusting, but also interesting, cool style of horror films that she does. A lot of her horror films are hard to watch, but I'll watch anything she makes just because I'm so interested in it. So she has Alpha coming out this year. Now jumping into my top 10. At number 10, one of, if not the greatest director of all time, Steven Spielberg, has a film coming out called Disclosure Day. I don't know anything about the movie. I haven't seen the trailer, but it's Steven Spielberg. I know he hasn't been like at the top of the top in the 2000s, but Spielberg is one you always got to look out for, so I'm stoked for Disclosure Day. Number 9 on my list. I think of all the horror franchises that exist in the world, I think there's only been one that doesn't have a single bad horror film in its franchise, and that's the Evil Dead franchise. And we got another Evil Dead film coming out this year called Evil Dead Burn. The only thing that makes me nervous about this one is it's a first-time director, so I hope he doesn't break the streak. But if you look at the Halloween films, the Nightmare on Elm Street films, the Friday the 13th films, Hellraiser, Alien, Predator, there's at least one bad film in all those franchises. There's not a single bad film in the Evil Dead franchise. If Evil Dead Burn is good, that keeps that streak going. It's the only horror franchise to not have a single bad film in it. Number 8 on my list. This is directed by Simon McQuoid, who did the first one a couple years ago. It's Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite things that's ever existed. I have a lot of tattoos on my body. I have 25 tattoos. My first ever tattoo I got when I was 18 years old was the Mortal Kombat logo. I love Mortal Kombat. I want a good Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie is pretty awesome. I think that might be the best version of a Mortal Kombat movie you could possibly make. But we have Mortal Kombat 2 coming out this year. I didn't like the 2021 Mortal Kombat too much. There were some good action scenes, but I wasn't a big fan of that film. Hopefully this one's good. Probably not. Number 7 on my list is Avengers Doomsday. I'm excited to see Doctor Doom. I'm excited Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. I think that's a cool idea. I've kind of fallen off from the MCU in recent years. After Endgame finished, I was kind of like, I'm good. I don't need to see anymore. And then they kept coming out and they were like progressively worse. And the Russo brothers haven't made a good movie since Endgame. Like every movie they gets like a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. So maybe this will be bad too, but I'll check it out. Opening day should at least be fun to see with an audience. Number 6 on my list is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which comes out this month. 28 Years Later, if you watched my top 10 movies of the year, it was my number 2 favorite film of the year. I love 28 Years Later, so I'm excited to see 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Hopefully it's good. It's directed by Nia DaCosta, who did the Candyman film in 2021 that I really, really liked. And they also did The Marvels, which I never saw, but hopefully this one's good. Number 5 on my list. I don't even know if this film is truly coming out because I heard that there's scheduling delays and like conflicts, so I hope this movie's coming out. This is a film that I never ever thought we would see the light of the day, but that is David Robert Mitchell's They Follow, the sequel to 2015's It Follows. It Follows is one of my favorite films of all time. My second tattoo I ever got is the poster of It Follows right here. There's Micah Monroe herself right there, and Micah Monroe said there's been scheduling delays, so maybe we won't get They Follow, but if we do, that'll be one of the craziest things. I never thought we'd get a sequel to It Follows. I love It Follows so much, and I would be so stoked to see a sequel to It Follows, They Follow. Number 4 on my list, by one of the best directors we have working today, potentially of all time, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Now, I saw Avatar Fire and Ash in IMAX opening night, and they played like a 5 or 6 minute like scene from the Odyssey that then transitioned into a trailer. And that scene was so good. I was like, that's going to be the best movie of the year next year. Like, it was so incredible. And I love that John Bernthal's in a Christopher Nolan movie. I can't wait to see the Odyssey. I think it's going to be one of the best films we've had in a very long time. Number 3 on my list is by one of my favorite horror directors and favorite directors working today, Robert Eggers' Werewolf. Now, Robert Eggers made The Witch one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I also have a tattoo of The Witch for Black Phillip Live Deliciously. I haven't loved anything he's made since as much as The Witch, but I thought The Lighthouse was very good. I thought The Northman was okay. I really like Nosferatu. But even though I haven't been loving his movies, I think Robert Eggers just has such an awesome horror style. And now he's doing probably my favorite classic monster you can do, a werewolf. I can't wait to see Robert Eggers' Werewolf. I'm sure it'll be awesome. Number 2 on my list is by my favorite director working today, a dude who I've been such a huge fan of for the last like 12 to 13 years, Denis Villeneuve's Dune 3. I've been such a huge Denis Villeneuve fan ever since Enemy, Prisoners. Sicario is one of my favorite films of the century. I loved Arrival. I loved Dune. I loved Dune 2. Blade Runner 2049 is one of my favorite movies of the century. I just love Denis Villeneuve so much. I can't wait to see Dune 3. I personally don't love the book Dune Messiah. I think the Dune books get progressively worse with each one. I think the only great Dune book is the first one. But I also trust in Denis Villeneuve. I'm sure he'll change up the book, tweak a few things. I think he's going to make a great film to close out his trilogy before he moves on to James Bond. I can't wait to see Dune 3 in IMAX. It's going to be awesome. And I just can't wait to see another Denis Villeneuve film. I love the dude's style so much. So that's number 2 most anticipated of the year for me. And number 1, my most anticipated film of 2026 is Godzilla Minus Zero. Godzilla Minus One is my favorite film of the 2020s. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I love when Japan does Godzilla because America's been doing Godzilla films with fucking Adam Wingard, and they've been, in my opinion, absolute trash. I hated Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. I hated Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm sick of the American Godzilla films. They look like shit. But when Japan does Godzilla, recently, in the last 10 years, we've had Shin Godzilla, which is one of my favorite films of all time, one of the top 3 best Godzilla films of all time, and we had Godzilla Minus One, one of the best Godzilla films, top 3 of all time, by Takashi Yamazaki. He's coming back to do Godzilla Minus Zero. I'm so stoked for that movie. I rarely ever see movies twice in the theaters. It's not something I do often, but I've seen Godzilla Minus One 3 times in the movie theaters, and I cannot wait to see Godzilla Minus Zero. That's my most anticipated film for the year. That's my top 10. What's your most anticipated film for the year? Thanks for watching. Peace.